The scene is a gymnasium at Overcote Hall, a large apartment, artistically decorated and fitted with gymnastic apparatus. Halfway up the room is an arch, which, supported on 2 pilasters, divides the ceiling from the skylights. A door on the left opens on to a passage, while on the right is the door of a spacious cupboard. A vaulting horse, a suspended rope, parallel bars, and a horizontal bar are prominent features of the apartment, while there are also a settee, table, and upright pianoforte. The place is in darkness, but a faint blue is seen through the skylights and the large window at the end of the room. After a short silence, there are the sounds of men's voices in whispers and the breaking of glass. Then a man's hat drops from above, and de Grival is seen descending with difficulty with the aid of the rope. In a whisper to Tweenways, who is above.
Tweenways, my friend, be careful. It is not easy.
Out of sight.
Oh, look out! I'm descending.
Coming down.
Hold the thing. Hold it.
Hold where?
Nearly down.
The rope.
He falls.
Ah!
Under his breath.
Fool. Fool.
You are hurt.
Crawling along.
Heavens, yes.
De Grival picks him up. Their appearance is very dilapidated. De Grival's clothes are soiled, his hair has become lank, and there is a star-shaped patch of white plaster on his brow. Tweenways wears a small black shade over his injured eye.
One thing we may congratulate ourselves. We arrive.
Arrive? How can I be certain that we have strictly carried out Lady Thomason's instructions? The mere idea of your losing that note fills me with—
Walking against the vaulting horse.
Oh!
My friend, what is done cannot be made different.
Coming into contact with the support of the horizontal bar.
Ah, damn it all.
Examining the vaulting horse and the horizontal bar with the aid of his magnifying glass.
De Grival, I have a shocking misgiving.
Misgiving?
Heavens, I believe we're in the gymnasium.
Gymnasium?
Our instincts are rarely at fault.
Coming against the parallel bars.
Oh!
You are hurt?
Yes.
But I remember Lady Thomasin's letter, every word of it.
Holding his head.
Clamber on to our old schoolroom, find a skylight in a roof, lift up the tiles of an outhouse, climb on to a tower, drop off and wait there till we turn up. Yours gone over at the knees, T. Belturbet.
Tweenways falls over the Indian clubs. There is a great rattle.
You are hurt again?
Yes, but wasn't there something about the West Wing? You said so.
Certainly, the West Wing, or the, I think.
You think?
My friend, pardon me. I fear I have changed a wing.
To himself.
Fool, fool.
Starting back as his hand drops onto the keys of the piano.
Oh!
You are hurt.
No, I am not.
Joining him.
What to do?
You may do what you please, Monsieur de Grival. So far as I am concerned, this visit to Overcote has come to a wretched close.
He goes to the rope, attempts to climb it, and fails. Watching him.
Ah, you cannot.
Heavens! It's beyond me.
Sitting on the settee despondingly.
What a horrible predicament! This reminds me of many a page in our history. The dungeon, the prisoner.
Rubbing his shins.
Even the implements of torture.
Sitting beside him in great dejection.
My spirits go.
We have no spirits.
Taking his hand.
My friend.
A pair of legs appear from above, clinging to the rope.
Oh! What is it?
Surely, legs.
Ah, Wilhelmina.
The legs descend and Litterly is revealed. De Grival and Tweenways rise.
Barrington.
Literally.
Hello, there you are.
Litterly comes between De Grival and Tweenways. His arm is slung in a black silk handkerchief.
Now then, I should like to know what you've got to say for yourselves.
We never give explanations.
You catch the next train, don't you?
Really? This tone?
It would be pleasant to finish the day together, wouldn't it? Our word to the ladies. Honesty is the best way out of the park.
Taking Tweenways' arm.
Tweenways and I now go.
My friend.
Releasing himself.
You may not be aware, Litterly, that de Grival and I are here in the position of invited guests.
Oh yes, I'm aware of it.
Handing Thomason's note to de Grival.
I picked up the invitation.
Ah.
And you may not be aware, my dear Tweeny, that that invitation directs you to the East Wing, and you are now in the West Wing.
Monsieur de Grival.
I commit an error. Pardon me.
Never. We never forgive an injury of this kind.
To Litterly.
How am I to get out?
The rope.
Bah, he cannot climb it.
Nor you, sir.
Under his breath.
Insolent.
You say so, I try.
He goes to the rope and attempts to climb it. Walking about.
I've followed you fellows over about 5 miles of roof. Where the deuce have you got to? Why, I say, confound you, we're in the gym.
I knew it. I felt it.
By Jove, this is too bad of us. We really ought to draw the line somewhere.
Pointing to the door.
Isn't that the door?
Opening the door cautiously.
A passage, and lights at the end of it.
Closing the door. Opening the opposite door.
A cupboard.
Halfway up the rope.
I succeed. I triumph. I do it. Don't you know?
Bravo, Andre. We shall have to leave Tweeny behind us.
Under his breath.
Insolent.
The electric lights are switched on, and the scene becomes suddenly bright. De Grival descends precipitately.
Heavens!
I say!
Voices! Voices!
At the cupboard door.
Look out, you fellows!
De Grival runs into the cupboard, and Litterly pushes in Tweenways, who is hesitating, then goes in himself. After a brief pause, Sergeant Shooter enters. She wears a costume of coarse, dark material, a blouse, a skirt finishing just below the knees, and gymnasium shoes. At the door.
Now then, my lord, where are the rest? A quarter of an hour late as it is.
Thomason, Wilhelmina, and Noeline enter. They are enveloped in long cloaks.
What's the matter with you this evening? You all seem as stupid as owls, every one of you.
Don't you be cheeky, Sergeant, or I'll tell the mater.
I'll tell her ladyship.
We're not inclined for the gym tonight. There.
We've had a rather tiring day, Sergeant.
To Noeline, who is leaning dejectedly against the vaulting horse.
Well, Lord Noel, if ever I did see anybody looking exactly like Putty.
I don't care what I look like.
Clapping her hands.
Come along now. Key, please.
Noeline locks the door and takes out the key, bringing down the Indian clubs.
I always have said that when your lordships come back from these wretched holiday trips, your muscles are like apple jelly.
Throwing her the key.
Catch and be quiet.
Shooter catches the key and slips it into her pocket, bringing down the barbells.
If I were milady, I'd stop visitings altogether.
Noeline sits on the settee in an attitude of despondency.
There's the result of it. I suppose you've been dancing half the night through in those petticoats of yours. I wonder you like to wear such things.
Bringing down the dumbbells.
Now then, Lord Tommy, Lord Willie.
Wilhelmina and Thomason hurry forward sulkily, to themselves.
Oh!
Turning up her sleeves.
10-minute simple exercise to thaw the ice. Ready? Ready?
Rising.
Yes.
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 Come, my lords, a good appetite for dinner.
Shooter sits at the piano and thumps out a strongly marked tune. The girls take off their cloaks and throw them down angrily. They are in elegantly made gymnasium dresses of different colours. Pushing Thomason.
There's no room for me here.
This is my place.
You're a most ungentlemanly fellow.
Because I caught you kissing Litterly.
What?
Coming between them with the dumbbells in her hands.
Oh, please don't quarrel again. Don't.
Never interfere, Willie.
Out of the way, baby.
Wilhelmina is pushed over to the settee where she sits crying and rubbing the dumbbells into her eyes. To Thomason.
At any rate, if I were to so far forget myself, I shouldn't be kissing a worm.
You allude to my friend Tweeny.
Swinging her clubs.
You seem to have no doubt as to whom the denomination applies.
Fiercely as she picks up a barbell.
Noel, do you remember my dropping a 40-pound barbell onto Shooter's toes in the summer by accident?
Clumsy, yes.
Lifting her barbell.
Well, it wasn't an accident.
Oh?
Shooter abruptly discontinues playing and looks around.
Well, I never. You.
All right, Sergeant.
They commence their exercise. Shooter resumes playing, with an occasional glance round. Keeping one eye on Shooter, Thomason gets nearer to Wilhelmina. Speaking during her exercise to Wilhelmina.
Billy, I wonder when we shall get to Tweeny and de Greville.
Poor fellows, how lonely they must be in the dark.
I hope Tweeny hasn't broken a leg or anything.
Oh, don't.
He looks a bit brittle.
Their exercise becomes languid.
It was awfully plucky of Andre, protecting Fitton from that poacher, wasn't it?
And Tweeny.
I mean both.
What did Fitton tell you about it?
They cease their exercise altogether and, forgetting Shooter, sit on the settee side by side.
Why, Fitton said that Andre lifted the poacher high in the air like a baby.
That's right, and then threw him to Tweeny, who caught him 10 yards off.
What did Tweenways do then?
Shook him blue and chucked him back to Andre.
I shouldn't have thought Tweenways quite equal to all that.
Nor I. Andre, you never know men.
I suppose you oughtn't to.
Noeline's exercise has flagged by degrees. She now sits on the vaulting horse with her back to the others.
Just look at Noel.
I suppose Noel calls that club exercise. I call it shirking.
Tommy, it's an awful thing to realize, but after what we saw, there can be no doubt that Noel likes Litterly, eh?
Doubt?
Oh, things are getting pretty serious at Overcoat, don't you think?
Billy, old chap, dashed if I know what the deuce is coming over us all.
Shooter again suddenly ceases playing, turns, and rises.
I guessed it.
In great commotion, the girls rush to their places and resume their exercise.
I've caught you. Every bit of this shall go to m'lady. Now, my lords, no more nonsense, please. Back with those toys.
The girls replace the clubs, barbells, and dumbbells at the other end of the room. To Wilhelmina.
We've made the sergeant wild now.
And I've no chocolate in my pocket to get her round again.
Gathering up the cloaks.
Wiping the floor with these things, too. Isn't there a proper place for them? Lord Noel, Lord Willie, onto the bar, both of you. Lord Tommy, 30 volts, without stopping for wind.
Noeline and Wilhelmina spring on to the horizontal bar, and Thomason comes to the vaulting horse, as Shooter, carrying the cloaks, opens the cupboard door. The men appear. Shooter, dropping the cloaks, utters a yell of terror and runs over to the other side of the room. There is a general uproar. The girls scream. Tweenways, running across the room, is seized by Shooter and violently shaken. Escaping from her, he makes for the rope, where he meets de Grival, who has crawled under the vaulting horse. They attempt to climb the rope together, impeding each other's progress.
It's Litterly.
Andre de Grival.
Why, Tweeny!
Hush, hush! Come back, you fellows. Be quiet, everybody. I say, do let me speak.
Going to Litterly and shaking him.
Who are you all? What are you doing here?
Noeline comes down quickly, places herself between Litterly and Shooter, and seizes the latter by the collar.
You coward, Shooter. Don't you see Lord Litterly's arm is in a sling?
Staring at Litterly.
Lord Litterly! Oh, my lord!
Advancing to Shooter.
Hullo? Why, Letty!
Oh, my lord! What is the meaning of this?
I say now, don't upset yourself. I am glad to see you.
Kissing her.
Do you know what you're doing? You're kissing our sergeant.
I should think so. Letty Shooter's my old nurse's daughter. We were brought up together. Letty was married from Bambridge Castle.
Kissing Shooter again.
I should think I am kissing your sergeant.
Quietly to Noeline.
Leave her to me, it's all right.
Thomasin, Wilhelmina, de Grival, and Tweenways are talking together with much animation. Noeline joins them. Shooter sinks onto the settee, holding her heart and panting. Litterly places himself beside her.
I say, Letty dear, how jolly.
Jolly? Oh dear, I'll never get over this fright.
Pushing him away and attempting to rise.
You wretch!
Restraining her.
What, when I haven't seen you for years?
As if you came here to see me. Who are the others?
My friends, Lord Tweenways and Monsieur de Grival.
My lord's sweethearts up in Scotland. I've heard of it.
She again attempts to rise. He pulls her back and puts his arm around her waist.
Letty, I'll tell you something. Keep quiet.
Whispering into her ear.
I say.
What? Lord Noel?
He nods, laughing.
Oh, I won't help you, either of you.
She again tries to leave him. He rises and stands before her, pushing her back whenever she attempts to rise.
Letty, be reasonable. What are you frightened about? If I give you my word that I will personally be answerable for the perfect behaviour of your young gentleman, will that satisfy you?
No.
Why, Lady Castlejordan's away, isn't she?
She'll be home tomorrow.
But we don't intend to stay till tomorrow.
I'll take care of that.
That's right. Always do your duty.
Looking at his watch.
Now, at what time do your young gentlemen dine?
8:15.
Then at 7:45 we leave.
On your honour, my lord.
Letty, on my honour.
She rises. He kisses her again and puts her back.
I am pleased to see you. Gentlemen, at 7:45 punctually we clear out. I have pledged my word to that effect to my dear old friend Mrs. Shooter. So I warn you, you must make the most of your time.
Starting up.
No, they mustn't.
Running to Shooter and hugging her.
Oh, Shooter dear, you've never been so nice.
Sergeant, you're a brick.
Come and talk to Lord Tweenways and Monsieur de Grival. Your mind will be so easy.
Thomasin and Wilhelmina take Shooter to Tweenways and de Grival. To Litterly, very coldly.
What did Dr. Flack say about your arm?
Rubbed stuff into it and made a frightful fuss.
Oh, there isn't any danger, is there?
Not the slightest. Right in a week.
I knew there was no occasion for you to be so alarmed.
She walks away, he following her.
I say, what have I done now?
Aren't you here?
I came after Tweenways and de Grival. I didn't expect this would happen.
As it has happened, you might have had the decency to shower your kisses on that woman in the cupboard.
I would have done so if I'd thought that you...
Oh, I don't protest against the vulgar exhibition on my account, but I have young brothers.
I kissed her with a motive.
I'm sorry to hear it.
My old nurse's daughter.
Fudge.
Known her all my life, I.
Do your sisters kiss the head gardener's sons?
Yes. No.
Following her.
I say.
They sit together on the settee, wrangling. To Shooter.
Come now, Sergeant, you might oblige a chap. They've been on the roof since 6 o'clock.
I'd ring the alarm bell first. How am I to get a bottle of wine?
You could wheedle it out of old Parker.
Do, Shooter, darling.
Taking her arm coaxingly.
Monsieur de Grival is such a brave fellow.
So's Tweeny.
If I foraged for refreshment for anybody, it would be for his lordship over there.
Litterly?
We'll give Lord Litterly his share. Do.
My lords, if I fetch you some refreshments, will you promise me faithfully to get into that cupboard and stop there till I come back?
Yes.
No, not all of you. Only my young gentlemen.
We understand, Sergeant.
Of course we will.
Good man.
Into the cupboard, then. Into the cupboard.
The three girls hurry into the cupboard and close the door. Shooter unlocks the door that leads from the room. Going to her.
I say, Letty, upon my word, you're a good sort.
I wouldn't do this for any living soul but you, my lord.
She waits, wiping her lips. He hesitates, annoyed, then kisses her. As he does so, the cupboard door opens and Noeline looks out. To herself indignantly.
Ah.
As Shooter departs, Litterly turns and sees Noeline.
Oh.
She withdraws her head. To himself.
Spotted. Just my luck.
Tweenways, my friend. We are on the clover.
Sitting at the piano.
I enjoy myself like a deuce.
He plays, rattling off a gay French melody. To himself.
Thomasin is undoubtedly beginning to regard me with great warmth. I've never felt quite like this in my life. There's nothing I'm not capable of.
Leaping onto the horizontal bar and swinging to and fro a few times, then crying out in pain, helplessly.
Oh, Litterly, quick!
Going to him and taking him down.
Hurt yourself, Tweeny?
Heavens, yes.
He walks in a stooping posture to the settee and sits, doubled up. Litterly knocks at the cupboard door.
Lady Noeline? Lady Noeline?
From within.
What do you want?
Please, let me explain.
Opening the door haughtily.
Pray, don't think that any explanation is necessary.
You see, if I didn't make it right with Letty Shooter...
Oh.
Coming out of the cupboard in her cloak, shutting the door behind her.
Oh, how I long for 7:45, overcoat, the park, our Jim. I feel that nothing will ever be the same again.
Pacing about, he following her protestingly. Popping her head out of the cupboard.
Here, Noel.
Go back, Tommy, at once.
I like that.
Coming out, in her cloak, shutting the door behind her and walking across to Tweenways.
Sneak.
Laying her head on the vaulting horse, despairingly.
You see how I am treated? How I wish I could undo the past few days.
Here, I say, don't cry.
They sit together on the vaulting horse, pulling her head out of the cupboard.
Tommy, you know I can't bear the dark.
Wilhelmina. My pretty girl.
No, no.
He takes her hand and brings her out of the cupboard. She is in her cloak. Thomasin and Tweenways walk to and fro.
I assure you, Lady Thomasin, I attach no importance whatever to the slight affray. We...
Slight. The poacher carried a loaded stick, Fitton said.
Possibly, yes. I remember dashing it aside.
Lucky for old Fitton, you and de Grival were on the spot.
De Grival?
Yes, didn't he?
Waving his hand disdainfully.
My dear Lady Thomasin.
Why, Fitton gave us to understand.
That de Grival? Really?
They walk away as Wilhelmina and de Grival come forward talking together.
Monsieur de Grival, my sisters and I, can't thank you sufficiently.
Please no. It thanks itself, besides how small a thing to do.
To save a man's life. Why, perhaps but for Tweenways and yourself, Fitton would have been—
Tweenways?
Tweenways assisted you, Fitton told us.
Ha, I laugh.
What Fitton said?
Absurd. I describe it. Fitton was on the ground with no sense when I kick him.
When you kicked whom?
Fitton.
You kicked poor Fitton?
No, I mean Tweenways.
Why should you kick Tweenways?
I'm not telling it. I kicked them all. Don't you know?
The attention of de Grival and Wilhelmina, Tweenways and Thomasin is attracted by Noeline and Litterly, who are sitting on the vaulting horse. Their heads are close together, and Litterly's arm placed lightly round Noeline's waist.
Noel!
Oh, Noel!
Lord Litterly!
Litterly and Noeline hastily dismount and face the others.
Hey? What?
Listening.
Hark, here's the sergeant. Get back! Get back!
Oh, I didn't know I was out.
The three girls hurriedly return to the cupboard. Litterly throws himself full length onto the settee and whistles unconcernedly. De Grival resumes his seat at the piano, playing with much energy. Tweenways rushes to the horizontal bar and hangs there without motion. Shooter enters, carrying a tray on which are a bottle of hock, some glasses, and a cake. Litterly rises, takes the tray from her, and places it on the table. Shooter relocks the door and looks round suspiciously. Then she finds Wilhelmina's shoe, which, in the scurry, has been dropped. Picking up the shoe.
Oh, the deceitful young devils!
She opens the cupboard door. Noeline re-enters the room, Thomasin following her. Wilhelmina appears, timidly searching for her shoe. Shooter produces it.
You've been out!
I must have been.
Coming between Shooter and Wilhelmina.
Now then, Willie wasn't the first to break our promise. I was.
Nothing of the kind. I was. How presuming you are, Tommy.
Oh, you bad lot, you!
Litterly has filled the glasses and now advances with the tray.
Now. We're all going to drink Letty Shooter's health.
Oh, my lord.
Litterly hands the tray from one to the other. To Wilhelmina.
After such stirring adventures, a glass of champagne is particularly acceptable.
It isn't champagne. It's our dinner hock.
To himself.
We hate hock.
He sits moodily. The girls place Shooter upon the vaulting horse.
Now, bumpers. We'll drink long life and a second husband to Letitia Ann Shooter.
Letitia Ann Shooter. Good man.
Sergeant
Shooter.
The toast is drunk with acclamation. At the piano again, excitedly.
We are having a good time. If we dance, we should like it.
Yes, Sergeant, rattle off something for us.
Oh, no.
Tommy, be quiet.
Binding the wheat sheaf, the old dance we dug up at Drumdoris.
Oh, yes, Shooter knows that.
Shooter takes de Grival's place at the piano, putting on some torn and soiled gloves.
We are no dancers.
They dance a quaint country dance, beginning demurely and increasing in energy as they proceed. De Grival is dancing alone, very wildly and fantastically, when the door opens and Lady Castlejordan, who has apparently opened the door with a key attached to her chatelaine, enters with Minchin. Lady Castlejordan stands as if stricken. Gradually the dancers fall back, with the exception of de Grival, who does not see Lady Castlejordan and continues dancing. Then he discovers his position and bolts into the cupboard. Lady Castlejordan sinks upon the settee, looking before her with a fixed stare, and sitting motionless. Shooter is still playing gaily. Minchin goes to her and taps her upon the shoulder. She stops playing, turns, rises, looks round, and totters out at the door.
What is it? Roger Minchin? I'm going mad, I think. What is it?
Lady Noeline, you are the eldest of three, I still hope not altogether worthless young women. But upon my word, unless you instantly furnish some reasonable explanation of the presence of these gentlemen, I shall find myself guilty of wishing that you had never been born.
Mother, this is my cousin, your nephew.
Litterly comes forward, staring at him.
What's that you say?
Lord Litterly rendered me a great service in London, though I didn't know till this afternoon to whom I was indebted for it.
That young man at Overcote.
He came here to restore me a ring I had lost. He didn't find out until he had entered the park that he was at Overcote.
Cannot he make his own excuses?
No, Lady Castlejordan, I can't, and I say, Aunt Miriam—
Stand away. Who are the others? There are others.
Mater, Lord Tweenways begs me to present him to you.
Tweenways?
Tweenways, who has been under the vaulting horse, is now halfway up the rope. He bows from that elevated position.
Lady Castlejordan, I rejoice to find myself at Overcote Hall. We—
To Thomasin.
I see. The result of your stay at Drumdurris under Egidia's care. I am mightily obliged to her.
I take the present opportunity.
Come down!
Tweenways descends rapidly,
Mother dear, Monsieur de Grival.
raising her head,
What? The other?
looking around.
Andre!
Minchin opens the outer door and calls de Grival. No one appears. The others call de Grival with the same result. Litterly enters the cupboard indignantly. There is a short pause, and then de Grival is shot out into the centre of the room. Litterly re-enters more leisurely, glaring at de Grival.
So that is the Frenchman?
French by birth, yes, but so long educated in England. English is my appearance, manner, voice, English to my backbone. Do I not play your games, follow your sport?
Hush, hush!
To de Grival, presenting him formally.
Monsieur Andre de Grival, Lady Castlejordan, my mother.
With a profound bow.
Ah, Lady Castlejordan, damn it all.
No!
Upon my soul, sir. I do not say the right word. I mistake it. I despair.
Hush, hush!
I rave madly. Tonight I stab my throat. Don't you know?
Oh!
De Grival is dragged back by Litterly, rising.
Roger Minchin, I wish to speak to my eldest child. Take these gentlemen away for a few moments.
Minchin beckons the men, who quietly retire into the cupboard.
Noel!
Minchin places a chair for Lady Castlejordan.
Noel! I went to town to receive a statement from Florence Vipont's maid, Dawkins.
Oh, treacherous creature!
The woman declares she sallied out the other night in young Robert Vipont's clothes. Is it true?
Perfectly. Surely you can have no objection to such a proceeding, mother?
Noel!
Shaking a finger at Lady Castlejordan.
Ha!
But he didn't return till early morning, according to Dawkins. You've never heard me say I like that in a young man?
No, mother, but I got mixed up in a street fight, through protecting a girl from a brute who was going to hit her. I punched him, mother.
What?
You did?
In the public street? Before people?
You've had me taught to do such things.
Ha!
In the presence of strangers? Never.
After I'd done it, I ran away, and fainted in a by-turning.
Fainted? My son!
But luckily Lord Litterly came along and picked me up and carried me home to his lodgings.
Oh, my daughter.
Minchin joins Wilhelmina and Thomasin and talks with them.
This morning he recognised me in Chesham Street and followed me here to return a ring I'd dropped in his room.
Pacing to and fro.
Disgraceful, disgraceful.
Yes, mother, it is disgraceful. But it will serve everybody a good turn if it teaches us that, after all, your children are nothing but ordinary, weak, affectionate, chicken-hearted young women.
No.
Stamping her foot.
No. Noeline from this moment. Noeline. Noeline.
Lady Castlejordan, I really think it due to Lord Tweenways and Monsieur de Grival that you should know they have stood you in good stead during your absence.
Mr. Minchin?
As the result of their perfectly inexcusable presence in your park, old Fitton the keeper has been rescued from the murderous clutches of a most determined poacher.
Quite true, mater. Tweenways may be bred a bit too fine, but in an emergency he's a demon.
You should hear what Fitton says of Andre.
I'll inquire about this.
He goes out.
Fitton or no Fitton, this shameful introduction of men into overcoat.
If we're boys, we must have pals.
The misery is we're neither one thing nor the other.
In the gymnasium, dancing and drinking.
A bottle of Rudesheimer. If one man can't give another a glass of wine.
Into your frocks, into your frocks.
Frocks?
Into your frocks.
Sinking into the chair.
And never, never, never come out of them.
Thomasin and Wilhelmina go to the door.
I felt ashamed of my appearance for ever so long. I own it.
She goes out.
All right, turn me into a girl. But look here, I shall be just the sort of young lady that's likely to be an awful failure in the end.
She goes out, pointing to the cupboard.
Mother, don't forget they're in there.
Oh, I'd forgotten.
I hope you'll like Litterly.
You hope I will like... Do you?
Yes.
She goes out.
Noeline, come back. Is it possible? My brain reels.
She goes to the door, opens and shuts it, then goes and opens the cupboard door, calling sternly.
Lord Tweenways? Monsieur de Grival? Lord Litterly?
Tweenways appears, encounters Lady Castlejordan, and retreats.
Lord Tweenways!
Tweenways appears again, bows apprehensively to Lady Castlejordan, and sidles round the cupboard door. De Grival enters, bows to Lady Castlejordan, and, edging away from her, joins Tweenways. Litterly enters.
You desire to...
To demand that you instantly leave Overcote, and to tell you that I can find no words in which...
Aunt Miriam!
Aunt! How dare you remind me of our relationship? How dare you?
Pausing and staring at him.
Eh? You're not well.
Have you ever been told that you have your late uncle's eyes?
My father often says I recall his brother Jack.
Why, if your hair wasn't quite so short, and if it was curly just there, and if you were an inch taller, and hadn't such an odious tone air... Oh!
She grasps his arms impulsively, then falls back with an exclamation.
Aunt!
Again grasping his arms.
Pardon me.
Leaving him.
Mercy, his muscles are like my Jack's.
Minchin enters.
My dear Lady Castlejordan,
Fitton happened to be in the game larder. He certainly has told me a story of almost incredible dash and presence of mind on the part of Lord Tweenways and Monsieur de Grival.
Yes, Mr. Minchin. Don't you see an extraordinary likeness in Litterly to my Jack?
There is a suggestion.
A suggestion? Mr. Minchin, what ought I to do?
A deep gong sounds in the distance.
Dinner, what ought you to do? Begin at once to distract your girl's thoughts from the follies of the past. Demonstrate with as little delay as possible that you can be a reasonable mother.
Glancing towards the men.
Ask them to dine.
What?
They're all more or less injured. They must be all more or less hungry. Be more or less hospitable.
No. If I ask anyone, it shall be only Litterly.
Why only Litterly?
He's so like my Jack.
You can't invite one blackguard without the others.
A blackguard? When he is so like my Jack?
Noeline, Wilhelmina, and Thomasin enter dressed in demi-toilette for dinner.
Ha ha!
To Minchin, proudly.
Ah, yes, aren't they beautiful girls? Lord Tweenways, Lord Litterly, Monsieur de Grival, as you see, I am still in my early morning gown. On the score of dress, therefore, I beg you will have no hesitation in giving me the honour of your company at dinner.
The girls, uttering little cries, sit suddenly upon the settee.
Lady Castle-Jordan.
Ah, I shall delight to eat.
You're very good, my dear aunt.
The girls rise and gather around their mother, kissing and embracing her.
Oh, Mother.
Mother dear.
Good business.
Litterly and Minchin meet and shake hands. Flourishing the Indian clubs.
La la la.
Swinging on the horizontal bar.
We carry everything before us.
The gong sounds again.
Lord Tweenways.
Tweenways comes with great dignity to Lady Castle-Jordan. The girls fall back.
Lord Litterly, Lady Noeline, Monsieur de Grival, Lady Wilhelmina, Mr. Minchin, Lady Thomasin.
The couples are formed, and all go out sedately. The end of the third act, and the end of the Amazons, a farcical romance by Arthur W. Pinero.